10 shocking MMA knockout moments. Knockouts are definitely one of the most exciting moments in any combat sport. While MMA solidifies its ground as a frontrunner in fight entertainment, it has been the house of some of the craziest knockouts in the history of mixed martial arts. Here are 10 shocking MMA knockout moments. Phil Baroni vs. Dave Menne. Phil Baroni didn't have an impressive MMA record, like most of the fighters on this list. However, he had some amazing wins, like his match against Dave Menne on UFC 39. After an inside kick from Menne, Baroni caught him off guard with a straight right hand, pushing him against the cage. Then Baroni followed it with a series of straight punches, calling the referee's attention to intervene and stop the fight. This all happened just 18 seconds into the fight. Serra vs. George St-Pierre. This is probably the biggest upset in the history of UFC. Who would have thought that the washed-out Serra would be able to dethrone the welterweight champ? While it may not be as clean as most of the knockouts in this list, it definitely shows how fights turn out inside the octagon. It's unpredictable. The heavily favored St-Pierre, on the other hand, made his comeback a year later. Rashad Evans vs. Chuck Liddell. With a 12-0 record, it was surprising that the crowd booed Rashad Evans in favor of Chuck Liddell in the UFC 88 main event. Deemed as the one-dimensional fighter, Evans earned the respect of many when he knocked out Liddell 1 minute and 51 seconds in the second round. It was so amazing that Evans also won UFC 88's knockout of the night. Machin vs. Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans was having an amazing UFC run until his fight with Machin came through in UFC 98. After winning the light heavyweight belt from Forrest Griffin, he lost it in a knockout, which is probably one of the hardest to look at in the history of MMA. During the final minutes of the second round, they had a 30-second exchange of kicks and punches, leaving him crumpled on the mat when Lyoto finally caught him with a vicious left hook. Rich Franklin vs. Chuck Liddell. This was a surprising knockout coming from Franklin, who just had his forearm broken earlier in the fight. It looked like Liddell had the upper hand in the match, but Franklin made an impressive knockout when Liddell left himself open for a split second. When Franklin connected with a right hook, Liddell, who just missed a straight right, was knocked out to retirement. Scott Smith vs. Pete Sell. After connecting a hard punch, leaving your opponent wincing, the most effective approach to end the fight is through a series of punches. Well, this is probably what Pete Sell had in mind when his left hook caught Scott Smith right in the face. Too bad for him, Scott still had the guts to throw a wild hook that hit him while he was running. He crumpled to the ground, then the referee came in to stop the fight. Vitor Belfort vs. Luke Rockhold. This was one of Vitor Belfort's 3-in-a-row knockout of the night awards, after losing the UFC light heavyweight belt against John Jones. In the middle of the first round, Belfort's spinning heel kick, which looked like the ones you see in Street Fighter games, hit Rockhold right in the face. As he fell down, Belfort finished the match with a barrage of punches. Anderson Silva vs. Chris Leben. Chris Leben was undefeated for 4 consecutive nights. He was feeling good about it, and he thought it was a good idea to send jabs at Silva in UFC's fight interviews. The Spider, on the other hand, made him eat his words as he got knocked out in less than a minute, 49 seconds to be exact. Silva then would go undefeated in the UFC for the next 6 years. Chris Weidman vs. Anderson Silva. After his successful debut fight against Chris Leben, Anderson Silva reigned in the UFC for more than 6 years. It was ended, however, with his fight against Chris Weidman, who had an undefeated record. While highly skilled at dodging punches in an unconventional way, Silva finally got caught with a left hook and knocked out a minute after the second round. Holly Holm vs. Ronda Rousey. For 3 years, Ronda Rousey reigned the UFC's bantamweight division. While most of her fights ending in a submission under 1 minute, she was, of course, the favored fighter in her match against Holly Holm, a professional kickboxer who just turned into mixed martial arts for a couple of years. A few seconds in the second round, everyone was shocked as she got schooled by Holm with a clean kick in the head. She fell and stayed away from MMA for about a year. Do you agree with our list? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.